Mikeitz. Parashat Mikeitz always is being read on Chanukah. One of the Shabbat Chanukah is always going to follow Parashat Mikeitz. So, let's try, B'ezrat Hashem, if we can make somewhat of a connection between the Parasha and Chanukah, and the Parasha and our lives. As you know, we always like to take the Parasha and try to apply it to our lives and to try to learn something personal about it. So the famous ordeal in this week's Parasha, the famous dream. Paro has the dream. He dreams that there are the seven nice cows, healthy, then 7 skinny cows. They come in, they swallow them. Then he wakes up, falls asleep again, 7 stalks of grain, nice ones, good ones. All of a sudden 7 skinny ones, and they consume them. He calls it Chartumim. Chartumim is advisors, sorcerers, astrologists, and so on and so forth. They give him explanations. Apparently he's not happy with it. All of a sudden he hears about Yosef, calls him in. They run him to Paro. He gives him the explanation, and it's all over since that point on. Yosef gets into power and so on. The question is to be asked: what was it in the explanation that his advisors gave him that he didn't like, and what was it that Yosef gave him, the advice that he gave him, that he liked?
Maybe probably because it made more sense.
Okay. He said because it makes more sense.
Probably.
Okay, probably, it's okay, we can try. But let's see if it really works. So let's go back again. He has the dream, the cows comes. Then he has the vegetarian version, he had the vegan version of the stalks, and the Chartumim comes and listen, not a problem, piece of cake. That is easy. That's explanation number 1, or effort to explanation number 1. That's not a problem. 7 cows, 7 stalks, that represent you're going to have 7 daughters, they're going to die, you're going to have 7 other daughters. Somebody else tries, well, you're going to conquer 7 countries. They're going to rebel against you. And Paro rejects that. Paro rejects this because the Paronim go to the obvious. It's obvious. They translate the dream as they see it. Very common sense dream. Paro says no. That's not it.
Yeah, but as I was saying, like Yosef, the way he said it made more sense. Like,
it doesn't make sense. It's obvious. What is that Yosef said? According to you, it made more sense.
Yeah.
What is it that Yosef said that makes more sense?
Because he said, like in his dream, the skinny cows ate the fat cows, right? He was talking about hunger. It has
not necessarily. So why was it again?
What do you mean? Why was it again?
Why was it the dream with the second dream, or the second part of the dream with the stalks of grain that came in again?
The dreams represent that 7 years of hunger, 7 years.
That's because you explained. Okay, what your argument is based on what the Torah tells us, but we can't deal with it like this because you can't learn from it. Personally, you can't learn from this. Why? Many times, when things come our way in life, we go into the obvious. That's the obvious explanation. That's the explanation that makes more sense. I'm going to tell you, Yosef's dream does not, or interpretation, does not make sense. His interpretation is to the, Mok says, cows, let's go. Cows represent, it's not bulls, it's cows. Right? Women, daughters, grain comes from the land. Maybe it represents a country. But there's something about it in Paro he doesn't like. Paro is not stupid. We do the same things many times in our lives. What we do in our lives, an event happens, and we turn to the obvious. This happens because of this, and because of that. To the obvious. There is no thinking of saying, one second, maybe something else is, maybe this dream is want to tell me, or this event wants to tell me something else. I'm going to learn from it differently. Your argument again is based on what the Parashat is telling us. But in real life, many times we deal with things, with events that happen to our life, as the Khartoumim deal with it. That's obvious. To think about 7 years makes no sense. So, never look to the obvious. But then again, you're going to ask me, what is it different, 7 daughters, 7 countries to 7 years? What was it that Yosef did that was different?
No, we always say that when we have a dream, the first person interprets it, that's what's going to come true.
We'll get to it. Hold on 1 second. We'll get to this. 1 second. We'll get to this. But what I'm trying to show you, let's take things, and what you're doing right now, by the way, is you're doing similar to what the Khartoumim did. You're going to the obvious. I'm trying to tell you, no, let's go Yosef's way. Let's not call it a dream. Let's call it events in life. But what Yosef does to Paro, he gives him also a solution of how to deal with it. You'll come to people and you'll have a problem. You'll ask advice from someone. Most people will tell you, well, this will happen and that will happen, or the reason happened because of this or because of that. How many people do you know that you come with a problem or with an issue or describing them a scenario will actually be able to do one step more than that, will give you an advice of how to deal with it? What happens is, the Paroim's advice is not bad. They could have said to Paro, listen Paro, the 7 cows represent, for example, 7 countries in which you're going to conquer and they're going to rebel against you. As such, maybe you shouldn't go to a war. They didn't say that. They just said, that's what it means. Many times in our life, we do the same thing over and over and over again. We go to the obvious. We're not trying to think more than that. Paro is very smart, as I said. He's very smart. He's saying a dream like that means something more than the obvious. What is it telling me? That I could come up myself. What is it that it's telling me? And what he's telling me is, I don't know. Here comes Yosef, and he's telling you, listen, there is a solution. And what it is going to be this, and here's how to deal with it. People will tell you, for example, the economy is bad. These are the signs that the economy is bad. Very few will tell you the economy is going in one way, and therefore this is what we should do. For example, we should cut spending. It'll be the same thing. You're going to a financial advisor and you're telling him, listen, I'm running very low on cash. Okay, let me see your account receivables. Let me see your cash flow. So I see you spend a lot of money. Well, you shouldn't spend so much money here. This is where you can cut. This is where you can cut. You can go on a budget. It would not make to spend more money, right? The same thing here. Nobody is giving you that advice. Nobody is giving us this advice. Yosef is the only one who tells Paro, this is the interpretation. It is deeper. It is not exactly what you see in your eyes. It's a little different. And the solution to overcome this is as such. Now let's do a preventive medicine. Let's take some steps in which would help us deal with what is going to happen. Apparently, that the dream came twice, it is something with tremendous meaning. The Paronim never dealt with that. Yosef deals with it. Look at how he answers. And he says to him, it's one dream. And the reason why it's twice, let me tell you why is it twice. It's because it's going to happen quickly. He doesn't take things just the way they are. Yosef does something more than that. Yosef is becoming, with his advice, maybe the first life coach in history. And he's telling, listen, Paro, it's going to be bad. But now, let's look at things in a different way. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. How we're going to deal with that already is a different story. So now, whatever happens, let's try to make the best of it. How many times things happen to our lives and we become, oh man, that's just bad. I give up. I give up. There's no hope. In other words, Yosef is teaching us a lesson here. Never give up. Whatever happens to you, try to find something good in it and go with it. Go with the good. Run with the good. If Paro would have come, and he would stop panicking. Or Yosef, things are bad. Let's cut right away all resources. Let's start now saving. Panic, panic, panic. No good would come. Yosef is telling him something else. Listen, let's see what we can do. So for 7 years, let's fill up our granaries with grain, and then he pushes his plan. Something happens to you in your life. What do you choose to look at? Or how do you choose to act? Press the panic button? Or say, hold on 1 second. Let's just step 1 second. Let's think. What exactly happened? More important, why did it happen? What were the steps that I did to make those things happen? And then now let's see, how do I make the best out of it? We don't do it. We tend to belly up all the time. All right, let's give up. Let's give up. Why? Because there's no hope. And your hope will determine many times, oh, how much do you want to succeed? How much do you want the good to happen to you? You go on a date. You invest time. You go on another date and another date. After a month, all of a sudden, she throws you away. You could do one or two things. Actually, maybe three things. One, don't pay attention. Continue dating, which will happen again. A. B. You could become very depressed, and very sad, and feel rejected. And then, of course, you might even fall in love with this feeling of self-pityness. And you're going to, why me, poor me, which of course never going to solve your problem, just going to make it worse. Or you can say, okay, Baruch Hashem, it happened now. Not only is not the worst thing could happen, it's probably good it happened like that. Who knows what will happen later on? You get fired from your job, unfortunately. It's not a pleasant situation. It's not a pleasant ordeal. How are you going to deal with it? That's the problem. That's the issue. Am I going to say, okay, got fired from my job? Now let's see. Maybe finally the first time in my life I can sit down and allow myself to do what I really wanted. I couldn't do it because I was involved with my job all the time. I would never dare to quit. But now they got fired. Well, maybe I'll take a turn in my life. Let's say the guy was an accountant. He got fired. But really fired. But really right now, deep down inside, he wanted to open, I don't know, a kosher smokehouse, like when they smoke ribs and stuff like this, Well, that's what he likes to do. Before, he would never dare to do it. That he got kicked was an opportunity for him to do what he wants. If you're going to do that, you're probably going to become very successful. But you are not going to be able to do that if you don't have the ability to say, I'm going to try to make the best out of it. So therefore, whatever happened in your life in a situation, you try to make the best out of it, even if you already know that bad things are heading your way. The fact that bad things happen your way does not mean that you're sitting down and you're waiting for this tsunami to come and hit you. In other words, you are not becoming reactive in your life. The problem is that many times we become completely reactive. Something happens, then we act. Something happens, then we act. Something happens, then we act. The more successful of us, among us, will become active. They always act. But the very chosen few will be proactive. What do you want to be? Yosef is teaching us here how to be proactive. It's coming my way, and I'm going to make the best out of it. How? Of course, I need to understand that I need God's help. Without His will and His willingness to help me, nothing will happen. But to initiate the process depends upon me. You wanted to go to law school. For whatever reason, you didn't get into law school. Maybe now it's a time for you to really go to medical school. Or just to become a salesman, because that's what you wanted to do. The fact that you got rejected does not mean the end of the world. The end of the world will come when you'll decide that it's the end of the world. And that is how it sits down somewhat with the story of Hanukkah. Hanukkah, as we said this morning, there were three, and tonight is Erev Rosh Chodesh. There were three major decrees in which the Hellenists had put on Am Yisrael. They had to deal with the character of Am Yisrael. The first one was Brit Milah, circumcision. The second one was Talmud Torah, learning Torah. And the third one was the holiness of the Jewish family and its values. And there was another one that came later on, which became Kiddush HaChodesh, sanctifying of the month. What does it really have to do with anything? And it goes like that. Brit Milah is a reminder all the time of the renewal of the covenant that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made with Avraham Avinu, and it is something of a covenant that we carry on our body all the time. A father that would be found to circumcising his son, so-called in real time, both the mother and the child would be stoned to death. They would be killed. Learning Torah, you would be found teaching Torah to people, you would be killed. That's why they play the dreidels, the Zvivonim. Every time the soldiers came in, they pretended that they're playing like a gambling game, like a Jewish roulette, And family values and purity or holiness was the rights of the governor of that particular town or village for the first night of the bride. In other words, every Jewish bride would be first raped by the Hellenist on the night of her wedding. This was done to destroy the soul and the spirit of Am Yisrael.
And people still got married knowing that?
They still got married to do that because they are also descendants of Yosef. That character came from Yosef. So listen, we are not giving up.
Couldn't you just get married without without?
That's right. They will come up. They will. The Gemara in Masechet Ketubot, the Gemara in Masechet Kedot talks about it. If you will not do it, you'll die. So it was all to break the spirit of Am Yisrael. Then we have the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh, which turns up to be the first mitzvah that was given to us before we came out of Mitzrayim. Kiddush HaChodesh, sanctifying of the month, is very important. Sanctifying of the month creates the beginning of a national attitude or identity. In other words, you're going to start counting your own time. With all due respect to January, February, March, and April, as a Jew, it doesn't tell me anything. I have my own count. I have Nisan, I have Iyar, and so on and so forth, the Jewish month. That is my count. It will be like in America, we will celebrate the 14th of July. What do I have in America to do with 14th of July? The Bastille Day in France. That's nothing to do with me. 14th. In France. Okay? There's nothing to do with me. Or, do you know when is the Independence Day of Uganda? No, I don't really care. I mean, nothing against them, I don't really care. To create a national identity, you have to start with something very specific, very simple, as counting your own count. They didn't let this happen. Am Yisrael, why? Why is the problem with Kiddush HaChodesh and those three mitzvot and the parasha? Kiddush HaChodesh symbolizes renewal, creating of a Jewish identity. Itchadshut, all the time. It's another month, another month. The belief that there is hope. Okay, so let's say I had a bad month. So I had a bad month. Who said the next month is going to be bad? It's going to be good. I had a bad day yesterday. Who said today is going to be bad? I had a bad day today. Who said it's going to be bad tomorrow? Take one unit at a time. Oh, I had a bad morning. Why should the rest of the day be bad? But this is something that you have to understand comes with choosing the good. Uvacharta batov, to choose the good, to understand, to take advantage of the fact that you're here, you can still change. That is a Jewish concept. That's the concept of tshuva. Okay, so a person was born to a family of non-observant Jews, and who knows what they ate and when and how, or how did they practice their life. But okay, there is hope. There is hope, because unlike other religions, Judaism believes in renewal and in opportunity of good things to happen. If you want to become successful in life, you can have the attitude of, well, that's exactly what it is, there's no hope, let's continue. That you would find, for example, in Soviet Union. The situation would not change. You'll get up in the morning to dark houses, to brown life, to gray life, and it would continue. It would never change. Which is the difference from America. America, you don't like it? Go to California. You're a shoemaker. Go become a tycoon. No. There's an ability, there's a change, there is hope. There is what we call this place, we call here America, a land of opportunity. If I have an opportunity, I have an ability to change. And if ability to change, so the future is not so bad. Judaism is your ability to change at every given time. There are other religions that says no, you can never change. You are a helpless sinner. There's nothing you can do that would be good. From the beginning of your life, you are doomed to be bad. You cannot make one good decision in your life. One good, holy, or pure decision. You're doomed. Judaism is just the other way around. No, there is hope. And it is good. And even right now, things are bad in the complete darkness. And by the way, you know, this is going to be the last time that the days are getting shorter. From now, from this point on, the days are getting longer. So when you think that things are really, really bad and dark, that's exactly when they're going to change for the best. It can't get any worse than that. It always gets better. And it gets better and it gets better. And when it gets better and the days get longer, don't forget, there will be a time, it's going to be a cycle, the days are going to get shorter. Prepare yourself. And so is with your life. Right now you are in the spring of your life. Right? You're young. One day, you're not going to have so much power. Are you preparing? And there's nothing you can do about it. How are you going to deal, for example, with old age? Are you going to hate yourself? Are you going to hate the fact that you are old? And hopefully, one day, you're all going to be old. Amen. That's how I like to hear that, right? So how are you going to deal with that? Are you going to be like Yosef? Say, listen, let's make a plan. Don't worry. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But let's make a plan. Let's put some stuff in our granaries for now, when we have the ability. What is that you are doing for the years of famine that you're going to have? Are you putting anything to the side? I'm not even talking about saving for the future, which is a necessity. A person that does not save, not that he saves because, or he doesn't save because he doesn't have any emunah. On the contrary, he doesn't save because he doesn't believe that it's going to be good. He doesn't believe in the fact that it's going to get better. What do you put away in your granaries for the future? Financially? And in your mind, in your attitude. Are you saving up? How many of you right now are at a peak? I'm doing great. How many of you right now? How many of you have an anxiety of transitioning to the future? You're afraid to transition because you don't know what's going to happen. That you're going to college, you're going to school, and you hear the situation is bad. The economy is not doing good. Are you going to job school? How many of you believe somewhere in a little chamber in their heads that the world is going to come to an end in what? 7 days. For all of you who believe that the world is going to end on December 21st, please, if you want, after Shiur, I'll give you my information. Please assign all your accounts to me, and I'll be more than happy. I mean,
fake. It's not true at all.
What do you care? Well, so,
2060.
Excuse me?
It's part of the
2060.
2060.
I love this. Now, let me explain to you why those theories and why this is not Jewish to believe in those. Because many of us were trained and to actually strive for chaos. We don't want to have a tranquility of the mind. We don't want to have internal peace. Every day we say, Oseh Shalom Bibromav. Shalom is not only peace, Shalom is also harmony. You operate or you strive to harmonious life or chaotic life. I'm not saying boring, harmonious. Would you like to take a stroll in the park, or would you like to go to an amusement park? You've been trained from a very young age to operate under chaos, not to strive to harmony, to tranquility. Why? Because it's very simple. It gives you an excuse not to do anything. It gives you an excuse to dump the opportunity on somebody else to run your life. You have to be in control of your life. You have to bring your mind to a mindset of tranquility and internal peace. Don't strive to chaos. Look at the news. Everything is chaotic. Murder, rape, you name it. Good news don't sell. We love the chaos. We love tsunamis. To watch videos on YouTube of tsunamis hitting Japan. How many times you can watch the same wave? Why do you want to do that? Because you don't really believe. Comes Chanukah and tells you the following. No. Light always wins over darkness. Positive always is more powerful than negative. Why there is negative? Simple, so you would be able to choose. So you have the ability to make a decision. So if you don't make decisions, you are not in control of your life. So you would feel that you have control of your life. You make decisions. Do not be afraid to make decisions. Don't fall into the trap of negative. Don't fall into the trap of doom and gloom. Because when you doom and gloom, there is no hope for you. Don't be like the other medicated masses in which they think that there is no hope and there is no control and there is no... It's all bad. I didn't say life is easy. I never said it's easy. But it's not bad. As they say, comparing with the alternative, I'll take life over time. Every time over death. I can still do. I can still change. Judaism is very big on doing that. It's called asiyah. Believe in your ability to do. When you are willing to do, when you understand that, and that's what Yosef is teaching Paro. Believe in your ability to change, to act upon, to make decisions, to change this. Don't take things the way they are. Don't give up. He's encouraging him. And it's a lesson to you. Never give up. Connect yourself to the doing, to the asiyah in you, to the action in you. Be involved in building. So something happens. Okay. Let's build a new one, a better one. Let's take it as an opportunity to make a better decision, to move to a better place. And it happened, unfortunately, to many people. That gave them the koach after the terrible Holocaust in Europe. People got a good hope. Let's go to Israel. Let's fight. I knew people who came from Auschwitz. And in Auschwitz they worked in a crematorium. They were loading bodies into the ovens. Humiliated. As people. As human beings. And they came to Israel and they were taken to fight. A few years after, in 1948, I know this person, Alav Shalom, Shabbatai Cohen, it was my sandak. And they fought in Gush Etzion. They fought in Gush Etzion. And Gush Etzion fell for the Jordanians, Legion. And there were POWs. So I asked him one time, I said, Shabtai, Sabi, how was it to go from one camp to another camp? So it's completely different. Here I fought. I did something. I was not led to. It's the same camp. I mean, quite different. But still, a camp is a camp. So didn't you have like I couldn't, at the time the term was a little different, post-traumatic stress disorder, flashes from the camp. He says, no. Here I fought. So that gave those people the koach to come and build Eretz Israel. They could have said, there's no more hope. Look what happened to us. You choose to connect with doing, with positive. You turn the whole world around. Same thing with you. Chas v'shalom, when a person does an averah, you have the ability to change. Don't say there's no hope for me. There's always hope. Chanukah teaches us this lesson. Bring the little light to your life. There is a darkness. We have in our hand, I told you, I love this song. It's an old Israeli kids song. Banu choshech legaresh. We came here to scare away darkness. Darkness, not necessarily darkness. It could be darkness, spiritual darkness, dark days. Beyadeinu or va'esh. In our hands, light and fire. Why light and fire? To light our ways, scare away darkness, and to burn it. Kol echad hu or katan. Each and every one of us is a small beam of light. Vekulanu, we are together, or echad, one single light. Surah choshech halashchor. Get away darkness. Get away negative. Surah mifnei haor. Run away, clear the way, because light is coming. This is the lesson of Hanukkah. This is the lesson that Yosef is trying to teach us. This is one of the most important concepts or principles of having Jewish life. Never give up hope. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not give up hope on us, that we will be able to make Shuvah until the last breath we have on this earth. The ability to change, to build, to have hope, and connect to the good, to the positive, to action. So Rabotai, I'm wishing all of us to have external and internal light. We should only midat tov. We should connect to the good and build, all of us, a better world. Chanukah Sameach, Rosh Chodesh Tov, and Shabbat Shalom.